Bumblebee is gonna be a hero, and he's somebody that we can really, really love. What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the Road to TF5. This is just Webster's. We're talking about Transformers last night. This is episode number 79. In my previous episode, I didn't have enough time for Twitter questions, so I'm going to do Twitter questions now. And we're going to answer a bunch of them, and all you had to do is tweet me a question. Make sure you put the hashtag the Road to TF5, and I will do my best to answer your question. So, Jorge Perez asks, what do you think the budget would be for the last night? I think it's just going to be a little bit over $200 million. The first one was 145, the second was 200, the third one was 195, and Age of Extinction was, I believe, a little bit over 200, like 210 or something like that. I think that with all this globe-trotting and with such an extended principal photography timeline, I definitely think it's going to be a much larger budget. Not by that much, but definitely over 200 million. Okay? Next question is, Kevin West asks, hey Alex, about the new episode for TF5, what if the building is caused by the return of stealth mode from DOTM? Okay, what he's referring to is actually in the freeway chase in Dark of the Moon, you got to see stealth mode. And when they were in stealth mode, they got to fire weapons like missiles and machine guns out of their vehicle modes. So what if, in this scene, during the London chase, one of the vehicles turned on stealth mode and they shot at the buildings, thus causing all this rubble to come down from the top of the building? Highly possible. Totally. But the only thing I gotta say about that is that they're turning on stealth mode to blow up buildings where humans could, be present. That's a little bit dangerous, but it could happen. This is, after all, Michael Bay's universe, and Michael Bay kind of has a little bit of a disregard for human lives in the background. It just seems to happen in his films. Next question is from Simon Kuzar. What do you think happened to Epps and Optimus? We haven't seen them on set that much. Well, for Epps, we're not going to really know what he's doing, but I believe that Captain Lennox is going to make a phone call, and then Epps is going to show up. That's what I think is going to happen. As for Optimus, I have a feeling that at the beginning of the movie, we're going to see Optimus somewhere in outer space, and then he's stuck there. And somehow he's going to make his way back, but it's going to happen in the third act of the film. So he's not going to be present for the second act, and then he's going to make his way back down on the final and third act. Okay? Raza asks, why the Lamborghini again? Bay like them, no Ferrari. I asked you about Dino Mirage is dead. Can we see him in TF5? We're not going to see any Ferraris in Transformers last night. And that is because getting a Ferrari, the Ferrari Italia 458 in Transformers Dark of the Moon, was difficult enough. They had a hard time getting the Ferrari to be, or rather for Ferrari to approve having one of their new vehicles in a Transformers film, and the main reason why is because Ferrari doesn't want to be associated with any theme of war. In this case, the theme would be warring Autobots against Decepticons. They don't want their vehicles to be weaponized in any way, shape, or form. So the only way they could have got a Ferrari Italia 458 in Transformers Dark of the Moon is if they gave him an Italian accent, named him Dino, which is actually, I think, like a relative or a son of the creator of Ferrari or something like that. And then also, Dino was not allowed to have round weapons, not round weapons, but weapons that used rounds or projectiles. You notice that Dino's arms had blades, and he also had like a grappling hook type of weapon. Those were his only weapons. He had hand-to-hand weapons. He wasn't allowed to use guns. So because of that, Ferrari had very, very specific demands to have a Ferrari in a Transformers live-action film. So do you actually think that Ferrari's going to allow them to have a Ferrari in Transformers last night? Definitely not. And you're probably thinking, wait, what about Transformers Age of Extinction? They had Ferraris in there. Well, pay close attention. they might have had Ferraris in there, but did you actually see them do anything bad? No, we didn't. We didn't even see them actually transform into KSI prototypes. Some Ferrari owner in Hong Kong lent them the vehicles, but I still have yet to catch that Ferrari on screen. And if it was on screen, it was only for like 1 or 2 seconds at most. So that's why they can't use Ferrari. Chris asks, why aren't there any jet or plane Autobots? The only jet we saw was in Transformers 2, which was Jetfire. That is because Michael Bay is directing. Switch up the director, we're gonna definitely have more aerial vehicles. We're gonna see jets, planes, and the main reason why is because Michael Bay loves cars. Michael Bay loves to have grounded action, and by grounded action, that means doing things more practically. Practical effects, having cars crash into each other, doing vehicular stunts, explosions, and just doing things real. Using planes and jets it's more expensive and also involves more CG. So he wants to stay away from that, and that is why in 5 films now we've seen a lot of sports cars, and a lot of the battles take place on the ground. And once they switch up the director, they're going to be more open-minded to having more aerial battles. So as long as we have Michael Bay on board, expect to see more sports cars. Dan Graham asks, why do you think that Bumblebee has been leading in all of the filming in the UK? And also keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Dan Graham. I appreciate that. Bumblebee has been leading the filming in the UK because we're having a transition. The franchise is going into a transition, and that is to have the fans really connect with Bumblebee so that we'll love him in a Bumblebee solo film. They want the fans to accept that Bumblebee is gonna be a hero and he's somebody that we can really, really love, because we're gonna have to learn to accept that he's going to lead his very own film. So they're just getting us ready for Transformers 6, which will be led and driven by Bumblebee. And that's why they're doing that. Daniel Navaratnam asks, do you think they are overdoing the whole Bumblebee barricade and now hot rod chase scenes? I don't think so. I don't think they're doing that at all. And as a matter of fact, I think they're actually redeeming themselves. I think by having Bumblebee and Barricade go at it and making an extended action sequence really does the characters justice, because we haven't seen a whole lot of them really go at it in the past. The Bumblebee Barricade fight was nothing. That chase was so short-lived. This is an opportunity for them to go back at each other, and having Hot Rod there is really just to give a great introduction to a key character, and it's possibly going to lead to Hot Rod being in Transformers 6 where he can be with his brother in arms. The final question comes from James Mosey. When do you think Transformers 5 will show the first trailer? Probably not at Super Bowl because that's in February. Maybe Christmas? I'm pretty positive it's actually going to be Super Bowl in February. They did, however, show the Transformers teaser in Christmas time in the past, I believe for Revenge of the Fallen. And Transformers, the very first Transformers film. In the very first Transformers film, they showed off this really awesome second teaser trailer, and this was during fall or November. And then in Revenge of the Fallen, they showed us that Decepticons. It was a teaser for Revenge of the Fallen, and it went doom with the Decepticon symbol, and that was really, really cool. But after that, it was all on Super Bowl. It was always on Super Bowl, and so that's when I think it's going to happen. And it's a great time. It's a very, very effective and efficient way to really promote your movie. And there you have it. That's all I got to say in this video. Now I am going to give away a prize. Actually, several prizes. It's 2 prizes. It's a Western Star Transformers Age of Extinction Optimus Prime lanyard, and also a Ragin Nation FTW slap bracelet. All you have to do is answer this question, and that is, what is the working / alternate title for the 5 Transformers films? Okay, and I can see from the answers here that a lot of people are just really copying each other and didn't really look it up. Anyways, I will do that. I will answer that for you. The working title for Transformers, the very first film, is Prime Directive. I'll read you an article right here. Here's the first 5 pages of what sources tell us in the actual script of the new live-action Transformers movie named Prime Directive in pre-production. So Prime Directive is the working title for Transformers. The working title for Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is E7 squared. And this was shown in the leaked call sheet. On the top of the call sheet it says E7 squared. So Revenge of the Fallen's working title is E7 squared. Moving on, Dark of the Moon, Transformers Dark of the Moon did not have a working title. It had an alternate title. And that is Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon, just like the Pink Floyd album. Now, because of reasons that were not totally clarified, it actually ended up being called Dark of the Moon instead of Dark Side of the Moon. However, in Japan, they called it Dark Side Moon. If you look at this poster, and if you can read Japanese, the subtitle reads Dark Side Moon. So that is the alternate title for Transformers Dark of the Moon. For Transformers Age of Extinction, it was just called E7. If you look on these casting call information websites like On Location Vacations, it says that they use E7 as the sign for the set. You see a lot of E7 signs all over the place. And finally, for Transformers Last Night, the working title is E75. What the E stands for, I don't know. What E7 means, I don't know. But E75 is the working title, and the prize goes out to Optimus Prime 213. You got 3 out of 5. And there you have it. So thank you so much, Optimus Prime 213, and everybody else for participating. All you got to do now at this point, message me, raginnation@gmail.com, and I'll send you your prize as long as I get your address. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I really, really appreciate all your support. As always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, @RaginNation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. And we didn't get to see a whole lot of that. He rode on him and then he jumped off briefly, but I would have loved to see him, do more riding. And then moving on, there's